Good afternoon, everyone. We'll go ahead and start the Education Committee meeting. Before we do that, Madam Clerk, would you take the roll? I know, this is all buttons. Has everybody that's here had a chance to? Barrett, Glenn, Mary, McKenzie. Okay, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Chairman, you have 14 members present. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Members, what we're going to do today, well, first of all, anybody have an announcement or recognition that you'd like to make? Seeing none. Who? Oh, Representative Reeves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, this is not a group that is part of my district, but my son was involved in Trail Life for a couple years, and I just wanted to recognize these boys who have come out to observe our committee. If y'all would just stand up and be welcomed, appreciate it.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the recognition, Representative Reeves. Anyone else? If not, members, let's bow our heads for opening prayer for our children and our state and our teachers. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the privilege of being able to do your will and work on things that affect our young people and our schools and our districts all across the state. We ask that you give us wisdom and understanding and knowledge as we go throughout this session. To Christ and we pray. Amen. Let me there's a few on this committee. We're hearing Education Committee Calendar 1 today. These will be non-committee members who will be presenting. We will meet again tomorrow for our committee members. We have about 22, I think, on this calendar. And I want to move swiftly through this. These are a lot of the bills that came out fairly easy. And so hopefully we can knock this out. The Senate's kind of moving fast, and we got to keep up so that we stay on track. But first one, here's a couple you can take off. Item number 6, 1948 has failed in the Senate, so it's off notice. Item number 8, 1288 failed in the Senate, it's off notice. Item number 22, 1794 failed in the Senate, it's off notice. And there's one that was Jen subbed in the Senate, is House Bill 1458. What number was that? Item 18. That's item number 18. We will roll it to the Hill. We won't spend time hearing it today as long as it's been Jen subbed in the Senate. Did I miss anybody? What's that? He got it. Okay. All right. So those. Okay, item number 12, House Bill, what was it? 1043. Item 12 was also Jen sub, so we'll move that to the Hill of the calendar. Make a note on. Okay. Gavel to make it official. I've asked that we're going to roll item number 1, House Bill 1822 to the Hill. We'll start with item number 2, House Bill 2125 by Leader Cochran. You ready?
All right. Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
Thank you.
This one is pretty simple.
Do you have a motion?
Oh, sorry.
You got it? Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Members, this one's pretty simple, really just tasking the Department of Safety and the Department of Education to work together to come up with a driver's ed curriculum. There's really not one currently. And so just asking them to do that to focus on defensive driving and other valuable preventative measures, especially for teen drivers. And this came from an issue in my district. And so both departments have been very great to work with to make this happen. Thank you, members.
Any questions for Leader Cochran? Without objection, I'll go ahead and call the question. No objection. House Bill 2125, Madam Clerk, put the vote on the board. Everyone had a chance to vote? Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 15 ayes and 0 nays.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
Right, House Bill 2125 moves out of calendar and rules. Thank you. And just come back, we'll get to your first one here in a little bit. Item number 3, House Bill 2364. You got a motion second by Chairman Hawk. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. This bill has a little bit of a different look than it did in subcommittee. We had found out that one of the provisions in the bill,
Do you, didn't mean to stop you right there, but do you have an amendment to the bill? Which one are you going to go with?
we do, Amendment 015802 is the latest, Chairman and
I
members.
see it rewrites the bill. So any objection to add the amendment to the bill for proper discussion? No objection. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Moves out. On to the bill. You're recognized now.
Thank you. Again, as I was saying, forgive me for the, not having the amendment put on there first. We're streamlining this bill to only discuss the threat reporting that was the intent of the initial legislation. What it suggests is that we are to notify parents and guardians only when threats of violence or significant disruptive behavior are determined to be credible after a thorough review. Clarifies when a notification of a threat of violence of significant disruptive behavior is to go out as when deemed credible after thorough review. We had another facet of this legislation, but it's tracking in a different piece of legislation. So the reason for this bill, oftentimes notifications go out and are that may not be deemed as credible. And this is making parents often immune to these notifications. So we want to ensure that it is a credible threat before it goes out to parents and notification.
Okay, with that explanation, members, questions on the bill? Representative Johnson?
Yes, just to clarify, I think, so this bill is addressing not the student that's taking the action or under investigation, but all the students is the parents you're referring to. Not the parents of the student taking the action, but the parents of all the kiddos in the school that might be affected by this threat.
Representative Hall?
It is a notification of a threat that goes system-wide.
Okay, but this doesn't have a say on notifying the parents of the kid that's taken the action or is under investigation or whatever. That's something different and more specific, correct?
Representative Hall?
That is correct. And the threat could be from outside the school as well. So it's apples and oranges.
Thank you. Further questions on House Bill 2364 for Chairman Hall? Seeing none, any objection to the question being called? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please put the vote on the board for House Bill 2364? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 16 ayes and 0 nays.
Thank you. House Bill 2364 moves out to calendar and rules. Thank you. Brings us to item number 4, House Bill 656 by Chairman Farmer. Is he in the room? You carrying it for? Oh. Okay, let's roll that 2 spaces and see if he walks in. Item number 5, House Bill 2048 by Representative McCommon. Is he in the room? Is he? Where is he? I don't see him. We have to roll. Okay. Okay. Item number 6, House Bill 1948 was taken off notice. Number 7. Okay, let's go ahead and get Representative Freeman here. We're on House Bill 1747. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. One of my favorite things I get to do is work with students. And the offer I make every year is there an idea for legislation that you would like to see us work on? This is where this came from. A bunch of high school students got together from schools across Davidson County and wrote this idea for civic engagement. So what the bill does is request that the LEAs come up with a plan to meet with the 3 branches of government, Sorry, do you have a?
Can I stop you one
Yeah,
moment? You do have an amendment I've overlooked.
Okay. Well,
It's Amendment 12824?
2-4? Yes, sir.
Right, it does rewrite the bill.
Yes, sir.
Got a motion second on the amendment. Any objection to adding the bill for discussion? Hearing no objection, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, now continue.
Sorry, Chairman, I overlooked that. So anyway, what this does is create a program through which students can visit the 3 branches of government. They can come here and meet with the legislature, the governor's office, and the courts. They can do it locally through their city alderman, or they can do it virtually. But it just gives an ability for students and the youth of Tennessee to understand the differences of the 3 branches and get to know their elected officials. And with that, I stand ready for any questions.
Thank you, members. Anybody have a question, comment on the legislation? I do think this is good. I've noticed that when I sit on boards of education or wherever, when you bring the young people in, they're actually in school, they give you some of the best advice you'll ever find. So this is good.
Totally agree.
Thank you. Members, further discussion. We're on House Bill 1747. Any objection to the question being called? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please put the vote on the board. Where's it? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 16 ayes and 0 nays.
Okay, House Bill 1747 moves out to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
Thank you. Let's go back and catch item number 4, which is Chairman Farmer, House Bill 656. You got a motion and a second. Any amendments to deal with?
Mr. Chairman, I believe it'd be 14563.
That's correct. Members, this amendment does make the bill. Any objection to adding the amendment? Got a motion second. Hearing no objection. All those in favor of Amendment 14563 indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Okay, your bill is amended and you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee members, what this bill does, if y'all remember last year, I ran a bill that would allow for LEAs, it'd be permissive, to reimburse a deceased teacher and their family members or estate for paid time off, the PTO they had, their sick days and things like that. Well, this bill would just allow for the LEAs to compensate all their other employees as well. So we're going to put everybody in there, allow the LEAs to make that decision. If they want to, they can. If they don't, they don't have to. So it's entirely permissive, and this just brings everybody else in the picture. So that's what it does. Be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Making sure I was on the same bill. I had something else come up.
Okay, good.
No, you're good. Members, anybody want to ask a question of Chairman Farmer? Seeing none. Any objection to the question? Okay, all those, Madam Clerk, please put the vote on the board. Everyone had a chance to vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes and 0 nays.
House Bill 656 moves out to finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Committee. I appreciate it.
Do we have Representative McCallman in here yet? Okay, we'll roll that a couple of spaces. It's already mentioned 1948's been taken off notice. That brings us to number 9. Yeah, number 8 is also off notice. Brings us to number 9. Okay, House Bill 1735, Chair Lady Moody. You got a motion and a second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Committee. Our House Bill 1735 was, yes,
Amendments on here I'd like to get to before.
yes.
Amendment 1. Amendment 1's already been adopted. We have Amendment 2 by Representative Sapicki, 15471.
Correct.
Do we need to? Chairman Sapicki, you are recognized. You go withdraw that? Okay. Amendment 15471 is withdrawn. That brings us to Amendment 3 by Representative Slater, 15530. Chairman Slater.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And in subcommittee, there was some discussion about these designees, whether or not they were voting members. So this is a friendly amendment that just states that these designees are not voting members. And with that, I stand ready for any questions.
You got a motion to adopt, come back to the sponsor?
Yes, that we agree to that.
You're okay?
Yes.
All right, all right. So you got a motion to adopt 15530. Any further discussion? Any objections to the question? All those in favor of adding 15530 to House Bill 1735 indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. It's now on the amendment, on the bill.
Thank you
You
so
may
much.
begin on the bill.
Thank you so much again. This is the one that was establishing the Tennessee Investment and Student Achievement Act and this TISA Review Committee. So with recommendations from you members and these amendments that have been added, it does say that the designees will not be voting members. So I think that has cleared the air with that question and putting it in there with an amendment. So with that explanation,
Further discussion on the bill, Representative Barrett?
I've just got a question. This may be a question for legal. You may not know the answer to this. If these designees are present and they're non-voting members, do they still count for a quorum?
You recognized. You want to go to legal or?
if you don't mind, and I'll
Okay.
keep looking.
The objection, we're out of session. Legal, you mind addressing that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Katie Robertson, Office of Legal Services. The amendment that was adopted provides that the committees may convene a meeting with a majority of all members present, including the one or more designees, but a quorum of all voting members of the committee is required to transact any business requiring a formal vote of the committee.
Does that address your question?
So the answer is no.
For purposes of a formal vote taking for the committee, it does not count. But for purposes of a present to proceed with the meeting, it does count.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Members, further discussion? We are back in session. And I'm going to ask the legal to combine Amendment 12874 and 15530 into one amendment. Further discussion? Hearing none. Any objection to the question? Madam Clerk, put the vote on the board. Mhm. Everyone voted? Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 15 ayes, 1 nay, and 2 present not voting.
Okay, House Bill 1735 moves out to calendar and rules.
Thank you.
I see Representative McCammon. Oh, you got one. Let's go ahead and finish up with Chairman Moody before then we'll come back to Representative McCammon. Item number 10, House Bill 2275. Okay, any amendments we need to deal with?
I believe there is.
Okay,
015778.
okay, that looks right on my notes. Got a motion second, rewrites the bill. So members, any objection to adding it to the bill for a proper discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Okay, you may continue.
All right. Just to refresh memories, if you weren't in sub, this would establish the Safe School Design Advisory Board. And we've spelled out who those members would be, what areas they would be representing from. And the focus is on school safety when our schools are fixing to make some changes, that if they would just look, their recommendations. And so what the amendment does, it simply moves this. It was filed to be under the Department of Safety, but this amendment will make it under the Department of Commerce and Insurance.
Okay, members, questions to Chair Lady Moody and Chairman Spick, I'm going to recognize you.
Is there any testimony on this outside of committee? If the answer is no, then I'd like to address the chairman.
There's no testimony.
Chairman Moody, I do not see your name on the list after this. Is that correct? For another bill?
Not today.
But not in education, right? This is your last bill in education.
You know, I didn't look ahead,
I did.
and I'm not going to look at you.
Chairman Moody, when I came in 8 years ago, you took me under your wing and taught me things that I didn't know up here. And you've been a dear friend of mine. You've been a dear friend of education in the state of Tennessee. And you served the people of Tennessee very, very well. And you should be very proud of the things that you've accomplished here. And I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, you will be sorely missed walking the halls of the General Assembly. So thank you for what you did for the children of Tennessee. Thank you.
So well said. Thank you. We will.
May I comment?
You may. You may.
We haven't
Thank
voted
you.
yet. Be careful.
It was a comfort to always have a bodyguard with you. But thank you, each and every one of you. I've learned a lot from you, and keep doing the good work. And thank you for all your comments and help. And if someone like me, if God can use someone like me, then give him the glory, and I'll be happy. But thank you.
Thank you. Well, the good news is you're staying down in West Tennessee, Covington, where with the rest of us West Tennessee
That's
people.
right.
And I'm really going to miss you also. As I mentioned last time, you know, I just remember that day I was driving back up here and you called me on the phone and when you were running for the first time. And it's been a delight to have you here. So
Thank you.
So I'm going to have to vote yes on your bill.
Thank you.
Members, anyone else like to make a comment before we go back to the bill? We're on House Bill 2275. Okay, hearing none. Without objection, Madam Clerk, put the vote on the board. There we go. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 ayes and 0 nays.
Okay, House
Thank
Bill
you.
2275 moves out the calendar and rules.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Item number 5. Okay, let's go back to Representative McCommon. Item number 5. You got a motion and a second. Do we need to deal with any amendments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I have drafting code 013590, and it makes the bill.
13590. That makes the bill. Okay, any objection to adding the amendment to the bill for proper discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Now that makes the bill. I do see one other amendment. Is that a consequence?
Mr. Chairman, that was an amendment, verbal amendment that was put on in subcommittee. We are, and after discussion with subcommittee chair and other members, we're not going to run with that amendment.
Okay, so we would ignore that one. So anyway, your bill is amended for discussion. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, committee members. As amended, House Bill 2048 simply includes teachers working within the LEA to have priority placement for voluntary pre-K. Current statutes includes teachers that are outside of the geographic LEA. This bill simply seeks to include students of educators working for the LEA. Excuse me. Legislation will hopefully help some of our LEAs to recruit and retain high-quality educators. It will not create any new additional seats for the voluntary pre-K. And it also will not take any of the at-risk student spots, which was something we passed last year. So with that, I stand ready for any questions and would hope for some support in this bill.
All right. Am I correct? We already do this in K through 12. We're just adding the pre-K.
Correct, sir.
Okay, good. Okay. Comments, questions? Representative Barrett.
Representative McCalman, is this your last bill in education?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think this has been my only bill in education this year. So by default, the answer is yes.
Representative Barrett.
And we're all grateful it's been your only bill.
Same here, sir. Thank you.
It should
Thank
say
you.
it's the last bill that's going to pass, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, members, we're on House Bill 2048. Any further discussion? Any objection to the question? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll or the vote. Okay, Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 ayes and 0 nays.
House Bill 2058 moves out to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Thank you. Brings us back over to where we left off. Item number 11, House Bill 2327 by Chairman Martin. I see where Representative Hurt, you going to carry this for him? He's, you want to tell him where he is?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am carrying this for Chairman Martin, and he is obviously back home, welcome or has already welcomed a new member of his family last night, I believe. So congratulations to Chairman Martin. More congratulations, I guess, to his wife, but to the Chairman Martin and his family for the addition, and we'll continue to pray for him as they get home and get settled. So I am carrying this for him. And Mr. Chair, there is an amendment. Well, I guess we need a motion.
Are you on amendment 14086 or that come into full committee?
I have, and I want clarity here. I have amendment 015610. It was just brought to my attention that is Chairman Martin's amendment. So we will not be able to add it today. Can I get some clarity on that?
That is correct. Yeah. So we could not add it today. Where is it in the Senate? We can either file as a floor amendment if it's, or Representative Sapicki, Chairman Sapicki.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do believe we will be here tomorrow. And since Representative Hurt sits on the committee, we're going to be hopefully taking up members' bills tomorrow. We could just roll this a day. Would that give us enough time?
Okay, any objection? Okay, why don't we do that? Why don't we roll this to tomorrow's calendar? Without objection, members, we're going to roll this to the hill of the calendar. All righty. Same thing, isn't it? Members, here we go. Item number 12, House Bill 1043 was rolled to the hill of the calendar today. Brings us to item 13, House Bill 2422. Got a motion second by Representative Martin. Let's make sure we have your bill in order. Any amendments we need to address?
There's an amendment that's traveling with the bill. It's 013734.
It's traveling with the bill. Okay, we still need to adopt it, okay? Got a motion and second on the amendment, 13734. Any objection to adding it to the bill for proper discussion? Hearing no objection, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, your bill is amended.
Thank you, Chairman White, and thank you, committee. I want to thank the superintendent of schools back in Hamilton County for bringing this bill to my attention and advocating for educational excellence in Hamilton County. Last week, the subcommittee heard this bill in the K-12 subcommittee, and Dr. Robertson was able to testify at that time. Unfortunately, he's not able to be here today. I hope this bill can be a tool for them to keep students learning in the classroom longer. House Bill 2422, as amended, establishes a 2-year pilot program to evaluate whether administering fewer district and state mandated assessments in certain schools results in students achieving greater academic success. The Department of Education would select up to, but not necessarily no more than 10 high-performing eligible LEAs to participate in a pilot program. Students in K through 8 in participating schools will be eligible for reduced testing if they achieve above the 40th percentile on the Universal Reading Screener or the Universal Screener in Mathematics, and on the Universal Screener in Mathematics. I'd like to clarify a question from Chairman White in the K-12 subcommittee of last week. After reviewing this bill with the Office of Legal Services, this bill does not conflict with House Bill 2277. All schools, including participants in the program, would need to list all local assessments administered to students. That bill would publish results by July 1 of 2027. The reduced testing pilot program under this bill begins afterwards in 2027 and 2028 school year. So there's not that conflict. I've also had conversation with members on program eligibility requirements from participating schools. And certainly if the committee feels that these requirements were not adequate, I would be open to amending to fit the bill's intent more appropriately. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I ask for a favorable recommendation and stand ready for any question.
Okay, members, with that explanation, we have Representative Johnson, then I go to Chairman Sapicki.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And to the sponsor, there's certainly a line where we have too big a focus on testing in K-12. It's taking up a lot of teachers' times. But I think where the miscalculation is it's okay to test students every year to see how they're doing, how they're performing compared to their peers, in their own right. The problem more with the testing is the high stakes decisions that are tied to it. I think that giving the children a test every year is not a bad idea. It gives teachers, it gives students, it gives parents an idea where they are. The problem is that we tie high stakes decisions to these tests that should not be tied to it. And that puts stress in the classroom, stress on the kiddos. So I guess what I would rather see is some of those high stakes decisions that are tied to these tests, like, a teacher's evaluation based on the student outcome, or the student's own determination of programming for next year. So I appreciate that you're trying to look at too much time spent testing and preparing for tests, but the reason we spend so much time preparing for these tests is because of the high stakes decisions that are tied to them, not because the testing's not a good idea. So I'm probably going to be against this bill because of that very reason. I'd rather look at removing the high stakes decisions that don't have an effect on the children's performance and testing them every year, if that makes sense.
Representative Martin.
Thank you for that comments, Representative Johnson, and I'm with you on that. I understand exactly what you're saying. This is a pilot program, so it's not a permanent program. There will still be testing and evaluations, but what it does is it's saying for those that are excelling and exceeding that those testings would be limited, that there would be redundance of taking those types of tests again. I don't think it's going to conflict with where you and I are on the same page, that we use those tests to help evaluate teachers and those kinds of things. So I would hope that I could persuade you of the value of a pilot program that would just be up to 10 LEAs to see if there's value in this.
Representative Johnson.
And to that, I'm still concerned. Sometimes we have outlier years where a student does particularly well, but that doesn't demonstrate itself throughout the child's entire career. And that's why that testing every year is important. So, I'd love to think about this idea, but I think that for me, that's just not the way I'd like to see it done. But thank you. I do appreciate the thought.
Thank you. Chairman Sapicki.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I agree with my colleague from Knox County. No, in all seriousness, I understand what you're trying to do. We have 2277, a bill that's sitting and hopefully be heard tomorrow, about gathering all the data on how many tests our locals do and start to look for patterns and things like that. This bill is very aggressive. I'll give you credit for it. I just have a couple hangups. Is in the section there about qualifying to take part in this program, demonstrated a student proficiency rate greater than 33% in ELA and math. Mm-hmm. And in our third grade literacy, we're over 40 right now. I think that's a low bar. Mm-hmm. That if you're going to participate in this program, you should show exemplary statistics and data that says, okay, you have demonstrated that you are one of the top performers. Like if we could just figure out a way to say, okay, the top 10 districts in the state of Tennessee, off of the data that they've proven to us, are qualified to do this because they've shown the ability to get our kids at this high of a level. So I think that's the first problem we have, is the 33. The other one is on the received a district level of TVOS scores, and we can have a whole nother conversation about TVOS. But a 3, 4, or 5, 3 is what level of expectation is in the state of Tennessee. If we could just tighten that up to 4 and 5, that we're pushing towards more districts that have exemplary data, right? More confidence in what they're doing. And then with my colleague from Knox, it really gets me nervous that we're not going to be giving all 3 screeners or all 3 benchmarks every year to these kids to provide data to the parents that they are progressing like they should be. Because when we were looking at the 3rd grade retention, we were being told that, hey, as a parent, I was told my kids are doing great on the benchmark, and then they're failing TCAP. And then the last part is about we're only going to give the TCAP every other year. That really scares me. So I just don't think that we're going to finish this committee today and tomorrow. I think we're going to be here next week because there's bills coming out of K-12. I'd be happy to sit down and work with you this over the week to come up and just, if it's okay, just to tighten this thing up a little bit. I think you got a good idea here. I think we just got to make sure that the ones that are doing this are the best in the state, that we can have comments that we're not going to mess anything up. That's my thoughts.
You recognize, sir?
And I appreciate that, Chairman Sapicki, and that's why in my comments that I started, I'm open to a different number when it comes to perhaps being a TVOS of a 3 or 4, perhaps a different number than 33%. As far as I realize that in many cases that we're above that, and of course the students that would be exempt would be in the 40% or greater with regard to it. I go back to say that this is a pilot program, and it's for only 10 LEAs, and it may only be that 7 sign up for it. It may be that this would give the eligibility, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go find the top 10. The top 10 may not want to participate. So it's about eligibility, and I would certainly be open to an amendment that we could get together between now and this hits the floor, but I would appreciate your favorable recommendation today.
President Barrett?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was worried that we were going to maybe do something procedurally here. I just wanted to ask this question, and if this doesn't come out or it gets rolled and comes back, do you have the numbers already? Do you know how many LEAs meet all of the criteria that you have here? Because as I'm reading this, it's an and, not an or, that they have to meet all 4 criteria. So do you know how many LEAs there are currently that would meet all 4 criteria? And then if we change the requirement as suggested by Chairman Sapicki, what does that do to those numbers?
You recognize?
The only one that I know is the one that I represent, and that's Hamilton County, because they're the one that helped me draft the language of this so that they could be a part of that pilot. So if we need to find out about who else would be qualified, I can't imagine there wouldn't be quite a few, but Hamilton County is one of the better performing districts. So I don't really know the answer to that. I just know that the ones that brought this to me from my home, they would qualify under this category.
Follow up.
If you do me a favor and ask the department, gather that information from the department and get that to me, maybe the other members of the committee would like to know that too. You've got this written to be up to 10. I'd like to know if there are 10 districts that even would be eligible to participate.
Follow up.
And I don't know that exact number, but I cannot imagine that it's not 10 because there was a lot of work put into this and back and forth to make sure. So, but I can get you that exact number. It'll just, I can't make it up. And you don't want me to make it up.
No, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And this is an issue that we've had discussed for the last couple of years, and we're going to continue to discuss this. I'll go back to Chairman Sapicki. I would have to be a no right now because we can't just open this up, to you. In my opinion, pilot programs or anything is why we're discussing this. Chairman Sapicki, do you want to?
Yeah, just to follow up I would ask the committee to not put a substantive amendment on the floor on this bill. If we think there's something here we can fix, then let's fix it here. And if there's not something here we can fix, then we just vote no. That'd be up to the bill sponsor. I'll be happy to help over the week to talk with your superintendent on to try to tighten this up, but I would very, very not like to put a floor amendment on this thing.
Follow up.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we all want to get things done. We don't want to just clap our jaws and say something. We want to get something done that matters. And if that could help you and your esteemed colleague with whom you have great agreement with from Knox County, then I'm not opposed to that at all. I just want us to move forward for the people that are back home that have brought me this good legislation. And so, Chairman Spicky, I don't have a problem. Chairman White, I don't have a problem with that. I want to get it done is the bottom line.
Okay, Chairman Spicky, you'd like to make a motion?
Would it be to the Hill?
Yeah, we could roll it to the hill of this calendar.
I'll make a motion to roll to the Hill.
Okay, any objection, any further discussion? That objection, House Bill 2422 is rolled to the hill of this calendar. All righty. Item number 14, also by Representative Martin, you're recognized.
Thank you. There's an amendment filed, drafting code 015775.
Okay, it does not rewrite the bill. Could you, any objection, go ahead and explain it before we consider putting it on the bill?
Sure. House Bill 2423 helps schools recruit new librarians. A principal from Hamilton County asked me if I could expand the pathways for her to hire librarians. Currently, an applicant must be a certified library information specialist to be eligible for employment. This bill expands eligibility in two ways. First, it qualifies an advanced degree in media and technology to lead to a library information specialist endorsement. Applicable degrees would be determined by the State Board of Education and the Department of Education. And second of all, it provides the option for schools with less than 750 enrolled students to employ someone with a valid teacher's license as a school librarian. This language scheme is from the State Board of Education's rule for grades K through 8. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I would stand ready for any questions.
Okay. Now, did you explain the bill or the amendment?
The bill.
Okay, we're still on 15775 amendment. Go ahead and specifically say what the amendment does. It does not rewrite the bill.
No, the amendment, 015775, what it does is with the current student enrollment under 750 to 100 to 1,500 students, both inclusive, must at a minimum employ a full-time library information specialist with endorsement in library information. So if it's at 750 to 1,500.
We got a motion second. Questions on the amendment, members? Representative Johnson?
Just real quick, so we already would require it, I would imagine, for above 1,500? Is that?
Well, yeah, yes,
Thank
ma'am,
you.
I think so.
Okay. We are on the amendment. Any further discussion on the amendment? Any objection to the question? All those in favor of adding 15775 onto the bill indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, your bill is in order, and you already explained the bill.
Yep.
Members, questions on the bill? I hear none. So we're on House Bill 2423. Madam Clerk, would you put the vote on the board? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes and 0 nays.
Okay, thank you. House Bill 2423 goes out to finance.
Thank you.
Brings us, members, to item number 15, House Bill 1550 by Representative Davis. You got a motion, and you have a second also. Give you a second. You're recognized. You do have an amendment floating. Does not rewrite the bill, according to my notes. So you go
That's
ahead.
correct, Chairman. It changes the effective date.
Okay, members, we're on Amendment 13538. And the sponsor says all it does is change the effective date. You got a motion to second. Any objection to adding this amendment to the bill? Hearing no objection. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. So your bill is amended. Go ahead, Representative Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee. And so what this legislation does is it goes into current statute with respect to how epinephrine is administered in our schools. Right now in statute, it says epinephrine auto injector, and there have been different delivery methods that have been created in order to administer epinephrine. Currently, there's a nasal spray, and I've just learned that also coming down the pike is a sublingual. That's like something that'll be put under the tongue. And so by changing it just to the word epinephrine, it allows for those different delivery methods to be utilized in our LEAs.
Representative Johnson, you're recognized first.
So one thing that's come to my attention, and you may know because I haven't had time to really check on it, but so what I'm told is the EpiPens have an expiration date, but the other methods don't have an expiration date on them. So is that factual, or what do you know about that?
You recognize.
The auto injectors do have an expiration date of a year. With regard to the nasal spray, it has an expiration of about 2 to 3 years. So it's a longer shelf life.
And it's labeled as such?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion. Chairman Raper?
Thank you. I move previous question.
Okay, any further discussion though? And well, the motion's been made, so I can't do that. But caught me off guard there. Any objection to that question? Okay, all those in favor, Madam Clerk, please put the vote on the board. HB 1550. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes and 0 nays.
House Bill 1550 moves out to Finance. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Chairman.
You have another one here, 16. House Bill 2329, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
We got a motion and a second, and you do have an amendment, and that would be
I've got 014049.
that. That is correct. And motion is second, and the amendment makes the bill. Any objection to adding the amendment to the bill for discussion? Hearing no objection. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. You may explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee. And this is, I also have someone here in case we have any questions. I have Dr. Shanna Groom. She is with the Tennessee State Nursing, and I've probably gotten her title wrong, but regardless, anyway, this legislation, what it does, I'm very excited about it. It creates a school nurse grant program. And so very similar to the program that we started with the school resource officers, it creates that program to establish funding for LEAs to apply for those grants. It's outside of the TISA formula, and it would be administered by the Department of Education, and its intent is to help school districts and public charter schools to hire and retain full-time licensed nurses. School nurses play a critical role in our school system. They keep our students healthy. Currently, right now, we have about 331 public schools and 32 public charter schools that do not have access to a full-time nurse. 89% of the time when a student sees a school nurse, they go back to class. We have approximately 178,807 students with chronic health issues. And that's one of the reasons I've been here in the legislature, is because my son was one of those. With type 1 diabetes, there are certain procedures that only a school nurse can do. And so when there's not a school nurse accessible or readily available for emergent situations, that can put our children in danger. And it did for my son. But I'm grateful that we have the School Board Association that has brought this legislation and is actively supporting it. And what I'd like to do is move it forward. This bill creates that grant program, and hopefully in finance, I can get some funding for it.
Thank you very much. You did have a guest speaker. Would you like for the person to speak?
If the committee has any questions, or she's a very accomplished speaker.
Okay.
And so if you have any
Sure.
questions, you may
Members,
ask them.
without objection, House Bill 2329, we have Dr. Shannon Groom. We'll go out of session, and if Dr. Groom, if you'll just take about 2 minutes and then share with us, and you may begin.
Thank you. Dr. Shanna Groom, I'm the Tennessee Director to the National Association of School Nurses. Will not take up most of your time. Rep. Davis did a great job of explaining the bill. I would point out that in the Tennessee Department of Education and our annual report up for school nurses. 89% of the time when a student sees a school nurse, they go back to class. But 80% of the time when that student sees the school secretary, if there's not a school nurse there, they go back to class. So when you have a school nurse full-time in that building, those students are going back to class more. So this bill would hopefully make sure that school nurses are available all day in every single school in the state of Tennessee.
Okay, members, anyone want to talk to Dr. Groom, ask her a question? Seeing none, without objection, we're back in session. Thank you so very much for being here, sharing that. You recognize, follow up on your bill.
The one thing I failed to mention is that with this grant program, LEAs that have a higher need are prioritized to receive those grant dollars first. And the amount that they can request is the salary and benefits of one LPN. So and if they already have someone hired, they can request those dollars to help fund that nurse that's currently there.
Okay, Representative Johnson?
Just be really quick. So do you have any idea with the amount of funding that's allowed, how much closer we get to those schools all having a nurse or some numbers?
You recognize?
So nobody fall over, but it's a little bit over $30 million. If they fund at the level, it's about a little over $72,000 per nurse. And so if they fund at that level for the school system, it would be about 30 million, which is about half of what we fund our SRO grant at right now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, members. Anyone else? House Bill 2329. Saying nothing else? Anybody have an objection to calling the question? Here, none. Madam Clerk, put the vote on the board. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 16 ayes and 0 nays.
Thank you. House Bill 2329 does move out to Finance.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, committee. Appreciate it.
Item 17, House Bill 0030 by Representative Clemens. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. I've got an amendment on this bill that should be traveling with it,
You do?
and that's barcode 14432.
That is correct. It does not rewrite the bill. Would you explain, you got a motion, you got a second. We explain the amendment before we add it?
Yes, I introduced this bill for the first time last year, so we had to change the effective date, and that's all this amendment does.
Okay, any questions from the committee? Any objection to adding the 14432 onto the bill? Indicate, please say aye. Opposed? Okay, your bill is amended. You're recognized on House Bill 30.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. What this bill does is it simply requires ELL students who receive language assistance services in the classroom during the school year to have the option and be allowed to receive the same language assistance services while taking their TCAP test or end of course assessments. That's what all this bill does. And of course, like in the subcommittee last week, someone's here to testify in support of the bill if the committee would be,
Okay, would you like-
be obliged.
You like her to speak?
I think she did a great job and took time off from work, so I think she'd be helpful.
I think we're doing okay on time. Members, without objection, we're out of session. And let's bring up Melanie Allen. If you'll have a seat and state your name for the record, and we'll have 2 minutes.
Hi, good afternoon, Chairman White and members of the House Education Committee. My name is Melanie Tercia Allen. First, I wanted to thank the K-12 Subcommittee for its unanimous vote on HB 30 last week. It was a really meaningful and special moment for me and for many others as well. And a special thank you to Chairman White for bringing up Naples, where he grew up, and making us all think about those white sand beaches. I appreciate your patience in granting me the opportunity again today to sort of speak about my experience. My name is Melanie Tercia Allen, as I stated, and I'm a Middle Tennessee educator and a former English learner. I'm the daughter of Cubans from Miami who prioritize English language acquisition heavily in our home. As a teacher and a former English learner, I know that when students are developing their English language proficiency, the barrier for them is not intelligence or effort, it's specialized academic language. So if any of us took a test full of specialized academic language like we see on Benchmark or on TCAP, in a language that we were still learning without support, the results wouldn't be an accurate measure of our actual knowledge. Similarly, English learners go through the same exact thing. Without those supports like extended time for language processing, paper-based testing for those that need it, or a bilingual word-to-word dictionary, which to clarify doesn't provide definitions for students, state assessments measure their English fluency rather than their grade level content area mastery for most English learners. It's important to support HB 30 because it codifies those English learner testing supports that are already outlined in the Tennessee Department of Education guidance. Schools are expected to follow that guidance and provide these English learners accommodations, but it's not codified in statute, which means that it can be interpreted differently across Tennessee districts and implemented inconsistently, and it likely is. When something is codified, it creates that enforceability that we love, consistency and clarity across districts and stability across administrations. It ensures that access to these accommodations doesn't depend on interpretation or local implementation, but rather we tend to codify accommodations for students with disabilities because all of us in this room understand that access is an advantage and it's important to have that clarity and consistency and enforceability. And we heard that access is not advantage with the conversations last week around school vouchers and school choice testimonies. This committee has emphasized the importance of high-quality data to determine where students need support. This codification ensures that the statewide assessment results accurately reflect the impact of those supports, and more importantly, that data reflects the excellent teaching of diverse populations that are happening statewide. That affects funding decisions, instructional planning, and how we evaluate school performance. So as districts become increasingly data-driven, preserving the integrity and consistency of that data is essential. As a former English learner in Florida, I remember knowing the answer, but not yet having the language to fully express it in school. I stand before you today because the supports that I received worked. Florida, where I grew up, has codified English language learner assessment accommodations since the year 2000, and they're currently ranked second in education by U.S. News and World Report. So it really shows us that codification is not unusual. It's just a standard way to ensure that statewide consistency, uniformity, and fair access for students. So I repeat again, access is an advantage. HB 30 doesn't create special treatment. It safeguards the integrity of Tennessee's assessment system at no additional cost to the state as there's no fiscal note. So thank you so much for your time. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you very much. Members, with that presentation, Representative Johnson, you recognize?
Yes, thank you. I'm glad that you made the point talking about special education, because as a special education teacher, kids with a learning disability perceive things differently. You teach them to adapt and you teach them tools so that they can get beyond that disability. And so it's the same with language, that you give these tools to them to help them get through the work and complete the learning in a different language. If you take those tools away for the test, what are you doing? You're not testing what they've learned. You're testing how well they speak the language. And that's not the goal of these tests. So thanks so much for wanting to codify this. The special ed is federal law so that it happens everywhere and it's uniform across the board, and it should be uniform with language as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, anyone else while we're out of session? Seeing none, and thank you very much for your time and bring back memories of Naples. We get out of school and we go down the closest lake and pull alligators out. A lot of fun. Okay, with that objection, we're back in session. Representative Clements?
Yeah, I didn't know you were an alligator wrestler, Chairman. That's impressive. And this applies to everyone. Over 144 of our LEAs have ELL students, over 83,000 students in 24-25. So we're probably well in excess of that now. And so I would again ask for your support of this legislation. This impacts all of our all of our communities in almost every LEA.
Chairman speaking.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for clarity, there's nothing in this piece of legislation that overrides existing law that puts the student does have to transition into English only taking tests. So there's nothing in the bill that prohibits that from happening, correct?
No, and this simply just accommodates for them so they receive the exact same type of language assistance they're receiving in the classroom at the time the test comes up and nothing more. And then once they transition out of that under their ILP, that would continue.
Thank you. Members, anyone else? Chairman Raper?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no problem at all with the spirit of the bill. I think it's a good intent. I did have one concern to address to you is, as a former educator, I know how crucial it is to maintain integrity of the classroom. And I know about quiet and, you know, how we just maintain all the way through in any kind of testing, we try to keep the classroom quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Could this be a distraction as far as the help? I'm all for the help, but could this be a distraction to the classroom?
Well,
Recognize.
thank you, Mr. Chairman, I apologize. There's language in here that says as long as the receipt of language assistant does not invalidate the assessment. So that would tend to cover that. Also, the type of language assistant services that we're discussing here are generally, as the witness stated, language to language dictionary, which does not contain definitions, breaks, additional time, those types of things that are non-disturbing. And if there was some sort of individual communication, there would certainly be quiet space for that allowed or different testing time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Johnson?
And typically that's done with the ESL teacher or in a separate location. So typically when you have accommodations that everybody doesn't have, they're done independently or with other like students. So it's not in the general classroom.
Right. While maintaining the integrity of the test.
Representative Mayberry?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've actually ran an after-school program for about 6 years, worked with all kinds of kids. And in Montgomery County, I believe we have a large amount of students who come in that maybe not speak English, Puerto Rico, other countries. And I've experienced it where they come in and they do not speak English and they very, very quickly master the language. And I see that this bill is definitely needful. I appreciate it to come forward. I just wanted to say that out loud to you. But there's one student in my mind, I knew him as a freshman. He first came in, he just smiled at me. He had no idea what I was even saying to him, I don't think. Today, he's a senior and he probably speaks English better than me. So, but anyways, I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Great. Representative?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I too, one of my jobs in high school was working for an after-school program. And with regards to the special needs children who required assistance, so I had a special child who was autistic. And my name was one of the first words he ever pronounced in that after-school program. So that was a truly meaningful experience.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, members. Anyone else on House Bill 30 by Representative Clemens? Any objection to the question? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please put the vote on the board. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes and 0 nays.
Okay, House Bill 30 does move out to calendar and rules. Before I let you go, number 18, you had 1458, House Bill 1458. It has been gen subbed in the Senate. And we're going to take it off notice?
Yes, sure, Mr. Chairman. That's what I was going to say. It's been gen subbed in the Senate, so no reason to take up your time.
Thank you very much. Members, House Bill 1458 is off notice.
Thank you, committee.
Thank you. Members, that brings us to item number 19, House Bill 2343 by Representative Harris. You're recognized. Let's see what you got. Any amendments?
Yes, Chairman. I do have an amendment, Amendment 013981.
1 second. Okay, Amendment 13981 was filed by Chairman Sapicki, so we're going to have to go to Chairman Sapicki. And there's another amendment also. I don't know if, go ahead, Chairman Sapicki.
016225.
Oh, 16225, okay. So we're going to leave 13981 alone.
Yes, sir.
All right. You got a motion and a second on the amendment. Representative Piggy, it does not rewrite the bill. Would you go ahead and explain?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Requires policies adopted by the local Board of Education to allow teachers to earn personal and professional leave at a rate of 2 days for each 1/2 year employed. Authorizes teachers to use up to 4 days of professional leave per year of employment instead of 2, and to serve on boards to which the teacher was appointed by a local official or local legislative body. It also limits the amount of sick leave for teachers up to 8 days a year for employees with a 10-month contract, 9 days per year with an 11-month contract, and up to 10 days a year for employee with a 12-month contract. That's what the amendment does, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, may I ask the question, does this fix that issue that we were talking about where those that work 12 months, it doesn't interfere with their days?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have a question on the amendment? Got a motion and second to adopt. We're on amendment 16225, does not rewrite the bill. I'll come back to you now.
Thank you, Chairman. And so if we adopt the amendment, it is adopted. Okay.
One second, I'm getting legal. Tell me something. Oh, yeah. Do you want to proceed with the amendment?
I do want to proceed with the amendment.
Okay. Here, no objection then. That objection, we're on amendment 16225. All those in favor, add it to the bill, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, now go ahead and explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When I woke up this morning, I was so excited. I said, oh my God, I'm coming to Education Committee. So, right. This bill here is to allow our educators, our teachers, the opportunity to have additional personal and professional time off. Currently, right now, the way the law is written, they get 1 day for every half of the year that they currently work. And so this what it will do will increase that time. When I was speaking with teachers last summer, the group, there was 3 issues that they had concern with. A couple of them I could not handle, but the third one was this, and it was because for the most part, whenever they want to take time off, they have to tell a fib and say that they are sick in order to have additional time off. When we could just make it the personal time. So this is increasing the personal time and leveling out how many days they actually have for sick as well. So with that, I ask for a positive recommendation.
Okay, with that, Representative Johnson.
Okay, so I'm looking at the amendment that was just read, and when it talks about in a 10-month contract, you only get 8 days. Does that mean a teacher who teaches August to May, end of May? That 10-month contract, is that what you're talking about? Somebody who teaches August to May, it would be the people who teach summer school also? Are they the only ones that get the 10 days?
President Harris.
Thank you, Chairman. And so currently right now, with most LEAs, the way it works is that they get 10 sick days.
Right.
Currently, that's 1 for every month, not to
Yes.
include the additional 2. This language adds that to where if someone does have to work during the summertime, they get a day for that month. If they're working year round, they get full 12 days of sick time. So that's how that one.
And so I guess, I don't know if my question is for you, my question's for legal, because I feel like we're trading 2 sick days for 2 personal days unless you work a full year. And that's problematic for me. So is that a question for legal?
Any objection to going out of session? We'll ask legal. We're out of session. Legal, would you address that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Katie Robertson, Office of Legal Services. Current law provides that teachers are required to receive 1 day of sick each month employed, plus any personal and professional leave transferred to sick leave. The amendment provides that a teacher would receive 8 days per year for a 10-month contract, 9 days per year, up for a 11-month contract, and up to 10 days per year for a 12-month contract, which would equate to the same amount of days that they're currently receiving for personal and sick combined. It's just going to be broken up differently by adding 2 days for personal and professional and 2 less for your sick.
Okay, so when I was teaching, I taught August to May or June, whenever we ended. And, but I got 10 sick days and 2 personal days. If this is saying we're going to get 10 sick days and 4 personal days, I'm for it. But if that's what I'm trying to figure out here.
Jill, can you address that?
It would depend on the contract length. From my understanding of the previous fiscal note, there are teachers contracting generally 10-month, 11-month, or 12-month contracts, and that would depend on what that contract is, how many they were receiving, but they all would be receiving the same amount that they're receiving currently. It's just a different amount for personal and professional and a different amount for sick leave.
So they're getting the same sick they always have. We're just increasing the days, the other ones, personal days.
Legal?
It would be decreasing the sick, increasing the personal and professional, but combined, it's an equal amount.
Okay, it's not a greater amount. Okay, that's cool. That's what I wanted to know.
Thank you. Any questions while we're out of session for legal? Chairman Raper?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For legal, isn't the way I'm describing, am I correct on this? That we still have exactly the same amount of days, but you could choose to use a personal for sick. I mean, it's exactly the same thing, but if you became sick and were out of sick days, you can always choose one of those personal days. Am I correct?
You're recognized.
That would be up to the LEA's policy on how a teacher could use their sick and professional days.
One more question, please.
Go ahead.
I'm still not completely clear in the fact of, okay, a professional day or personal day, as we're saying, personal day can be used for anything, anytime. Am I correct with that?
That would be up to the LEA's policy on how a teacher could use their personal days. I'm aware that some policies provide that you can't take your 2 personal days at the same time. So it's up to the LEA to determine when you can use your personal days.
And one more follow-up. I completely understand the 2 days in a row, but I'm just saying, okay, you've used all your allotment of 8 days, and then like any other personal day, you can just choose at that point to say, okay, I do have 4 personal days or whatever it may be at that point. I'm going to choose one of those as a sick day.
Yes, you could potentially, if a teacher is sick and they are out of sick days and they have a personal day, that they could potentially use that personal day for a sick day.
Thank you, and I'm sorry I didn't maybe ask the question correctly. So
Thank you. Okay, members, any further discussion? We're on House Bill 2343. We got to get back in session. Okay, we're back in session from legal. Previous question's been called. Any objection to the question? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you put the vote on the board? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 ayes and 0 nays.
Okay, House Bill 2343 does move out to calendar and rules. I do want to get back to Representative Cochran's bill, but we got a couple more we can move through. You have one more, right? House Bill 2032, number 20. Reverend Harris, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. And House Bill 2032 simply allows our private higher education institutions the ability to have the same purchasing power as our public higher education institutions within Tennessee. I went to had a few different meetings, but I went to a meeting with Chairman White over the summertime and got to meet with TACUA, and this was something that some of their presidents were in support of, and so we wanted to make sure that we got this done for them in this year. So again, with that, I ask for a positive recommendation.
Okay, members, any discussion? House Bill 2032. Any objection to the question? Madam Clerk, put the vote on the board. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes and 0 nays.
Okay, House Bill 2032 moves out the calendar and rules.
Thank you, committee. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, we've got Chairman Eldridge back here, House Bill 1834. You've got a motion and a second. While you're coming up, I see no amendments.
Believe I have a drafting code 11682. Is that,
That's the bill. We're good. So,
Okay.
House Bill 1834, that's,
okay, good.
okay, we're good.
All right, thank you.
Got a motion second. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill simply seeks to codify the ability of a school board to open with prayer. It does not require those in attendance to participate in the prayer, provides that no person in attendance will be coerced to participate in the prayer, and also the prayer has to be recited by a member of the school board itself. And it is 100% permissible. It's up to the school systems. So that's the bill.
Up to the local school system where they want to implement it
That's
or not.
correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Members, with that discussion, explanation, House Bill 1834. Any questions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, put the vote on the board. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes and 1 nay.
House Bill 1834 moves out of calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Item 22, 1794 failed in the Senate, so it's been taken off notice. We're doing real well. Let's see if, yeah, Representative Renaud. House Bill 2393, Representative Renaud. You got a motion and a second. You do have an amendment. Give us that, see which one you're going with.
13758.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Members, it does rewrite the bill. Any objection to adding it to the bill for proper discussion? Hearing no objection. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, go ahead and explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. This legislation as amended encourages age-appropriate and intentional use of technology in our youngest classrooms, K through 5. It is important to establish thoughtful guardrails as we now have increasing research that shows that heavy digital integration does affect student learning negatively. There are studies summarized by neuroscientist Dr. Jared Cooney-Harvath, who is a former teacher but now neuroscientist over the last 2 decades, that showed students retain more when reading from paper and writing by hand than when they learn primarily through screens. Screens tend to encourage skimming and distraction, while foundational learning requires focus, memory formation, and deep comprehension. Young students develop literacy and reasoning through books, handwriting, discussion, and teacher interaction. Technology can support those goals, but it should not replace the foundation of learning. Under this amendment, the school districts are asked to, that are serving students in K through 5 are asked to develop a policy to prioritize in-person teacher-led instruction and non-electronic instructional materials as the primary mode of learning. It must limit school-issued digital devices to situations where there is a clear educational benefit, and it should prohibit access to social media during the instructional day and ensure that any electronic tools used are developmentally appropriate and aligned with state standards, as well as provide transparency to parents about what devices are being used and why. At this time, the amendment also explicitly protects exceptions. Those include devices can be used for targeted instructional interventions, special education services, required screeners and assessments such as state benchmark testing, as well as teacher preparation, virtual schools, homebound instruction, and remote or hybrid learning days. And with that, I stand ready for questions.
Okay, members, Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the sponsor. We've had multiple conversations, and I appreciate you, making some amendments on this bill and everything. I share your concern with too much screen time, especially for young kiddos, and we've seen some problems with elementary kids having emails and things like that. It's not necessary. However, we are a technological society, and to compete with the world, you do have to have access and be able to do something. So I appreciate you trying to moderate that. That line is kind of hard to walk. But a lot of my concern has been the importance of a teacher in the classroom. And I felt that so much of this one-to-one device is more about having more kids and fewer teachers than it is actually having that person in the room that benefits kids so much, especially as you indicated, the young people. So I still do worry about technology not being there enough, but I certainly appreciate you trying to walk that line and while teaching kids about technology, not making that for young people that their whole day. So do you feel confident that this bill gets at what you're trying to get at, or would you rather see something else?
Representative Renaud.
Digital literacy, I think, is something that we might have potentially overshot because we know that students, particularly in K through 5, don't have a very difficult time learning technology. It's very intuitive. You could give a 5-year-old your cell phone and they can very easily figure it out. It is meant to be intuitive and not require a lot of work. But I think we know that they already do learn technology easily, but what they don't learn easily is going to be reading, writing, critical thinking skills, and attention. And so by doing this, we're prioritizing skills that are really the hardest to learn. They are nearly impossible to overcome if you miss this at the early ages. So by doing this, I think we're refocusing on what is important, what is foundational, what we know has worked for hundreds of years in education.
Thank you. Let's go to Representative Hurt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say thank you to the sponsor. I know in subcommittee I expressed some concerns on this, and I appreciate your willingness to work on it. I think we all share the same goals moving forward, but I think this is an appropriate first step to bring attention to it, and I appreciate you doing that and being willing to chairman's work to help you with an amendment that everybody feels comfortable with. So I just want to say thank you, and I do think it's a good initial step where we're headed. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else? Got Representative Kinsey next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, thank you for bringing this bill. I'll only argue with you in that my 2-year-old grandson hasn't offended. He just automatically goes to it and he understands that is the easy part. You're absolutely right in terms of that. But it also kind of gravitates toward that electrical device, and that's not a good thing. And so I appreciate this bill, and I agree with Representative Hurton that I think this is a good first step. I do think we need to understand how to best introduce technology because it is a part of our landscape moving forward. But keeping it on the basics at that age is extremely important. So thank you for bringing the bill.
Thank you. We have one more, Representative Mayberry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to, again, I liked your first version of the bill. I'm supportive of this version, but just echoing what you said, it's not intuitive for the paper, for the writing, for the studying in that way. And I think it's good that we have, I believe, gone over. My daughter graduated from high school in our public school system. She struggles with spelling because she grew up in an age where she was given a computer and it's spelled for her. So now she is in college and she struggles with that. And I think that's unfortunate. And so for us to get back to some of those things that I think are key to our ability to understand and comprehend, I think it's important. So thank you for the bill.
Thank you, members. One more for Representative Reedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And of course, in this same discussion, what we're finding out is during COVID, the remote learning, what we found was going on looking over the shoulder of our children, and then the access that they had through the internet and hitting the inappropriate places. But at the same time, this last summer, I spent about half of a day with the director of schools in Henry County, and it was amazing going through the different several grades. I kept seeing the cart with electronic devices on them, but they were not being used in the classroom. The young kids with the white dry erase board, making out words, spelling words. And then I go to another classroom and they're learning about Stonehenge out of textbooks, actual textbooks. And when my day finally finished with the director of schools, I said, do you not use electronic devices at all in here? And she said, very little. So when you brought this bill, it's like, hey, that's right. We got to get back to the basics of pen, pencil, paper, and learning how to write, how to spell, so we're on the right track. But then we still must be careful with electronic devices. And that would go for anyone in this room. there's some sites, there's things we don't need to see and be part of, and we need to just learn to put that electronic device down. But yet with AI, everything coming, we have to figure out how to use it and use it properly. But thank you for the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We got one more who wants to speak on this, then we'll come back. Got one more bill we want to squeeze in before we're out of time. Chairman Sapiki?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. and Thank you for the bill sponsor for being amicable to amend this bill. Members, I think what you're going to see over the summer is a concerted effort to look at how we deliver education in K through 5 to our students in regards to technology in the classroom, how we can use technology to provide the next level, but not be the level that we teach our kids all the time. Give them the flexibility to learn through paper, through textbooks, through notebooks, through conversations. And I think that's what you're going to see over the summer is taking this bill, stepping forward to it next year and bringing something that really takes us to the forefront in education in the country.
Thank you. Sponsor, any last comments from you?
Yeah, I appreciate everyone's comments and support. I ask for a yes vote on the bill.
Okay, members, any objection to the question being called on House Bill 2393? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the vote. Madam Clerk, take the vote now.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 ayes, 0 nays, and 1 present not voting.
Thank you. House Bill 2393 goes out to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Members, we got one more. See if we can squeeze it in. That will complete our calendar in full. Let's go back to item number 1, House Bill 1822. Leader Cochran, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We may have an amendment we need to deal with.
You do have an amendment. I've got 13683. That match?
I believe that does. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yep.
Okay, it does rewrite the bill. Remember, any objection to add the amendment for proper discussion? Hearing no objection, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. If you'd like to record your no vote with the clerk. Okay, your bill is properly amended. Go ahead and give us your explanation.
All right. Thank you, Chairman and committee. And so essentially, this is a bill that is clarifying the constitutional instruction on religion in history. Teaching historical positive impact of religion on American history is consistent with the First Amendment to the United States. This is not requiring any kind of new curriculum or requiring the adoption of any new standards. Just a clarification from the General Assembly that it's okay to talk about the tremendous impact that religion has had on both the founding of our nation and the development of the nation over the last 250 years. With that, I'll yield to any questions.
Okay. We got one person, Reverend McKenzie. I give you the last minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I don't know how many pieces of legislation it takes to tell an inaccurate piece of history. I don't know how many. How many have we? How many times have we sat here and endured this? The Charlie Kirk Saves America Act, whatever the heck it is. Come on, guys, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. Let's move on. This is becoming laughable, and you're not getting the effect that you think you're getting. So this to me, why do we want to have a revisionist history? History is history. It's history. It's been chronicled. We have the books. We pick the books. We pick the people that pick the books. There's nothing in our public school, and private schools might be out there teaching all kinds of crazy stuff, but you give them vouchers for that. But our public schools are doing a good job. But every year we put these nonsensical things on top of them, like they're somehow teaching that United States was created by a bunch of crazy, people. I don't even want to throw a category on it because it'll be offensive, but quit it. We know what our country was built. We know how our country was built. Benjamin Franklin was not a diehard Christian man. He wasn't. You're not going to be able to make him that. Thomas Jefferson was an adulterer. You're not going to make him not be that. So again, this continued attack, and then the attack, what I strongly consider a racist person's name to it, is abominable. But here we are again and again and again. These are double-digit bills that you all are bringing here this year that do nothing but divide. We need to be building together. We're a great nation. We are a tapestry. We're not one thing. We're not one party. We're not one race. We are a great melting pot, but that should have elements of everything. And it's rooted in the truth. The truth is being taught. But this assures ourselves. So this bill is going to make us say, whew, thank goodness. For the last 250 years, we've been teaching it wrong, and now we're going to get it right. This bill right here is going to do that. No, it's to divide. Thank you.
Respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not sure if there was a question anywhere in there, but of the 5 pages of this bill, you mentioned revisionist history. Can you point to the specific provision in this bill that's revisionist history?
Okay.
I'm assuming that you haven't been able to identify that.
He's not, no running debate. Okay. Representative Johnson, you have the last word, then we'll take the vote.
Yes, again, here we are with putting the name of someone that made some incredibly racist comments. And he said, yeah, we know you do not referring to Black women on the Supreme Court, Black women in office. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to be taken somewhat seriously. This is the person that we are talking about, someone who also said he wouldn't trust a Black pilot on an airplane. It is just unbelievable to me. Teachers teach facts. They don't teach feelings. They don't teach religion. If a factual part of history involved religion, that will be taught along with that factual piece of history. That's what we do. But what are you doing here, bringing something? We have standards that we teach. If that's part of the standards, we will teach it. But naming after it, after such a divisive character, I mean, this is really outrageous. It's divisive, as my colleague said. And this idea that if we just teach religion harder, then these young people will be more religious. That's not how this works. And you don't know anything about young people if that's what you think.
Okay, thank you. We are out of time. Can we go ahead and can I go ahead and call the question? We're out of time. Any objection to the question being called? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, take the vote. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 14 ayes and 4 noes.
House Bill 1822 moves out of calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman Committee.
Members, we stand in recess until we come back in tomorrow to finish up the next calendar. Thank you all so much. We did a great job. Thank you.